Hello everyone. Today Martin has joined me in the hot seat. Hi Martin, how are you?
Hi, Faye. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good
Thank you for
stuff.
joining me today. Um, I'm going to kick off the interview with my first question.
Uh-huh.
Um, can you tell us what the role of a domestic abuse champion means to you personally?
Um, I think I'm pretty proud to be a champion. Domestic abuse is a subject that I work with survivors and survivors' families on a regular basis, and I think getting the DAHA accreditation has made us all kind of look at the subject more seriously.
Hmm.
And being a champion means is that we kind of get extra training, which is always good. We get information that I think is relevant to what's going on. We live in a changing world. And the really most important thing about domestic violence is making sure that, survivors feel comfortable in making a report and
Hmm.
also making sure that they are aware of the different services that are there to help them. So if I can be a part of that, then that's good. And if I can encourage other people to look at that and start looking at the domestic abuse as a very serious subject that needs to be tackled,
Hmm.
um, then I've done my job.
That was such a great answer, Martin. Thank you.
Right.
Within that answer, you mentioned training and some of the specialist training that champions undertake. Um, from that training and from your knowledge, how do you draw some of that like some of that knowledge into the role that you're doing now?
So, as I think I kind of said before, it's part of my day-to-day business as a housing manager. We deal with domestic abuse cases regularly.
Hmm.
I think what it has done, it's actually um, reinstated maybe what I've always known. And I think it's always good to keep up to date with current legislation, keep up to date with various things that's going on in that particular field. And as I say, I speak with families on a regular basis and survivors. And
Mm.
for me, the most important thing is to ensure that they're safe once the report has been made, and to ensure that they're signposted to the
Hmm.
correct services, and also to undertake risk assessments as well, because we
Hmm.
need to find out what we need to do to make the survivor and the family safe, and that could be a few things. It could be maybe making sure that the property is more secure. It could be
Mm.
making sure that they've got access to the right rehousing pathways. So I think within my role, it just kind of reinforces what I'm
Yeah.
doing as a champion, as well
Hmm.
as a housing manager. And also, I'd like to think that I'm setting a good example to my team and also to my colleagues as well.
Oh, another great answer, Martin. And is it worth stressing that this is all confidential? So if someone does approach
And
you,
that
it's not.
is the most important thing. So I would
Hmm.
like to, you know what it is? I don't know whether or not you may ask me something about that. If somebody was to, um, you know, come to me with any kind of a serious report or think a friend might have some issues, confidentiality is key.
Hmm.
And also, what we've got here now, we've got a wide a wider kind of selection of champions.
Hmm.
So they come from different part of the business,
That's right.
and I think that actually that means that a survivor, a victim, may have kind of different people that they could talk to and feel comfortable talking
Hmm.
to if they've got a serious problem.
You did sort of preempt another question. So one of my other questions was, you mentioned confidentiality is key to being a champion. What else would you say to someone who may be worried that a colleague, a friend, or a resident is experiencing abuse? How would you let them know that they can approach a champion?
Well, I think what happens is at the moment now, and as you know, what we're doing is we're trying to raise awareness. And I think what we do, what we're doing here in the organization is that, there's a lot of posters about, what it is. We do, various workshops, and
Mm,
all of that kind of raises awareness. And within those workshops, we start to find that some people and the workshops are normally they are a safe space,
mm,
are willing to talk about certain things that maybe they didn't talk about in the past. And I think
mm,
that's about it's about them feeling confident that they can actually kind of share their experiences. And hopefully what that does is it will enable people and survivors to see that we actually deal with these issues sensitively,
mhm,
and we actually, the main focus is to ensure that we provide safety for that particular person. So hopefully that would encourage somebody to think, well, I could most probably approach a champion. We've
mhm.
got men, we've got women. So we've got people, as I said, from different services in the business. So
And
it could be,
backgrounds as well.
and backgrounds, and it could be. And I'd like to give you an example, if I may,
Yes,
because
please.
what I felt was, and this is just about, I think it's just, it kind of like veers off a little from your question, but what happened, I think, recently was I had somebody from the our repair service who went out, and he was on an out of hours call, and he came back and he knew that I was a champion, and he came back and he told me what he had witnessed. And we were able then to start putting things in place,
Mm,
contacting the resident when we felt it was okay, and when it was okay with her as well. And we were aware of this now. Now she can actually speak with us about her concerns. Now, I think
amazing.
without that kind of awareness, without that, what we're trying to do at the moment is to make sure everybody is buying into, looking into domestic abuse. How can we help our survivors? I just think it gives us a nicer culture
Mhm.
when it comes down to dealing with these incidences.
You've absolutely preempted my last question, which is you've mentioned a really great, I guess we'll say case study in this instance, about the positive changes that you've seen with raising awareness and the culture since you've become a champion. Is there anything else you wanted to highlight in terms of any other positive changes?
Um, well, I think it's changed the fact that there's so much more male champions.
Mm,
I think that's really important.
mm,
And so I think it's about changing. What we have to try to do is to try and fight this problem,
mm,
and as best as we can. It's not going away, and what we want to be able to do is to put systems in place to tackle it.
mhm,
And you know what it is, that particular incident, I think it just came, it was quite recent, so it
mhm,
just seemed to me, it just seemed to kind of highlight the fact that we've got our accreditation, and it means that it has actually, the information that we've been trying to kind of disclose has actually, meant something
yeah,
to our contractors and to everybody else that's in the organization. And that's the whole point. As I said before, it's about being able to recognize what's going on, is to be
mm,
able to provide a safe space for someone who wants to talk about domestic abuse,
mm.
and it's also to be able to provide them with solutions to the problem that we're facing, and sorry, what they're facing.
Exactly, Martin. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me today. Um,
Thank you
Thank you
for
very
having me.
much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon.